Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Friday Morning at the Fun House alongside Mr. Fun himself, Martin Popoff.
Yes, morning, sir. Morning, sir. Looking forward to doing this on a crisp, absolutely fall day here in Toronto. So ready to roll.
Yeah, weather's been nice. I mean, all that humidity that we had has kind of gone away. It's still here in New York, but a little on the warmish side. But the nights have been getting colder, right? So even though we've been hitting like upper 60s, low 70s, the nights like dipping into the 50s, and I think we've done a couple 40s and things like that. So yeah, it's fall. It's fall. It's still waiting for the crisp cold weather, and I'm sure because I'm going up to the Finger Lakes in just a couple days for vacation. I'm sure it's going to be a little chillier up where we're going. So it's about 3.5 hours northwest from here. So a little closer to where you are, I guess, and that
Looking
should be
forward to
fun.
the fest as well, right? The fest
Yeah, that's
is
coming
coming
up.
up.
It'll be
Yeah,
here before you know it. Yeah, we still have a
yeah.
little planning to do. Got to figure out all the panel discussions and topics and things like that. But it'll be a fun day. A lot of good conversation, a lot of good meet and greets, great food and drink available, and then of course Rick Labonte and his band are going to be playing all sorts of cool stuff during the evening. A lot of old classic favorites. So it'll be a fun day. It'll be a really fun day. So we're looking forward to
Great.
that. If you're in the area, come join us December 7th at the Warehouse in Newburgh, New York. Full day of fun with the Sea of Tranquility crew, as many as we can get there. And yeah, it'll be fun. Music, food, talk, drink, the whole nine yards. Right before the holidays, right? So just kind of celebrate the season and Sea of Tranquility. So anyway, we've got another Queen related show for you here today. This whole idea of Queen songs, and last week we did this whole kind of the best and worst of the goofy songs in the Queen catalog. Well, now let's switch gears a little bit. Now we're going to talk about the heavy songs in the Queen catalog. Those kind of like big rockin' songs, maybe not quite metal, but the Queen heavy tracks, the big riffy songs, the hard charging rockers. We've done kind of the same thing like we did last week. We picked our 10 favorites and our 10 least favorites, our best and worst. I will say, Martin, I don't know about you, the ones that I put in my worst list, some of them I really pained to put there, but because to me, I like a lot of the Queen heavy rockers, but you got to pick the ones that are least successful and put it down there. Some of them are not very good, but some of them are pretty good, but not quite up to speed of the ones in the 10 best list. So you kind of agree there, or you think some of these are stinkers? I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, being metalheads, right? We have a hard time, saying anything bad about heavy Queen songs.
yeah,
But I kind of wanted to make the point, and I think this is going to be a pretty interesting show because yeah, I've always had a problem with certain Queen songs along the way, and then I've always had this narrative in my mind that I feel like Brian loses the plot of being able to do heavy Queen songs at some point, and now they still try to do them and put them on the albums, and I'm ticked off at them at that point. So that's kind of what happens. But yeah, definitely these are not songs I dislike, but there's songs I kind of want to make a point about, kind of thing. So yeah, so my 10 through 6, so we're gonna go 5 at a time here. We got 10
yeah,
worst and 10 best. I'm gonna start with one that I actually I'm looking at my list here. I've got it at the bottom because I'm going in order of intense hatred going up to the top. So this is one I like quite a bit, right? Because it's at number 10. Hammer to Fall. I don't like what it represents. I don't like how this is really a great placeholder for that narrative of Brian moving from these cerebral, really cool, interesting arrangements to just and the little ill-advised synthesizer beep 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 along with it and stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it represents almost to me the theme of this entire episode of just kind of losing the plot. But it's a heavy song and it's got some good parts in it, and it kind of rises in in intensity sort of thing as it goes along. But even the whole "what the hell we fighting for," I don't think of Freddie as an activist particularly, right? I never bought that line from him in that thing, right? So yeah, that's my number 10. Next, I'm going with The Loser in the End, sung by Roger on Queen 2. Where's my Queen 2 hanging out here? We got a Queen 2 here. So yeah, I don't like these slow, bluesy, kind of clunky, awkward sort of songs that Queen does once in a while. So this one bothers me. I don't like the chord sequence, the licks, the bluesy licks, the glamminess to it. It just kind of bores me, kind of thing. Um, Next, I've got I Want It All from The Miracle, which really always bothered me because it seems very like selfish in 80s, you know, and you used to, it just seems like really frat boy, right? And you know, at a at a stadium sports thing or something, I want it all, like all that. All it just feels like
But that's what I think that's what it was written for, right?
yeah, it's just it's about selfishness sort of thing, right? And yeah, it's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then again, it's another one of these where it's like Queen has to put a heavy song or two on these later albums, but Brian's just forgotten how to do riffs basically, and they're just this simple sort of, you know, I always when I'm disparaging that kind of material, I almost say like Queen turned into Bad Company later, kind of thing. And you know, early Queen is definitely not Bad Company, kind of thing,
No,
right?
no.
um Next, I've got One Vision, which kind of strikes me the same way a little bit. It just, um, so this is the song that was related with Iron Eagle, not Highlander. So this album's just a hodgepodge, anyways. It bothers you that it's all kind of tied in with a soundtrack. It's a little bit like Fire of Unknown Origin, I guess, which I love. But yeah, this one, just again, down, 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 you know, it's just hammer to fall again, basically, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. And number six, this is one that you might consider a hot take. Um, I have never been a fan of hang on, wrong record. Right record here. Where we go? Anyways, Tie Your Mother Down. I've never liked that
Uh,
song. I do not like just the title, the weirdness of the lyrics, but I don't like shuffles, period. And this is sort of a shuffly sort of song. I never liked that riff. It sounds like a Foghat song to me, right?
it's very
Um,
boogie. It's total
yeah,
boogie. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Never been a fan of that song. I've always had it in for that song. I don't know why, but anyways, there's my 10th through 6.
So I really struggle with Tie Your Mother Down because it's like, it was one of those songs that's like it's not one of my favorites. And I never loved it, but I had a hard time even putting it in my worst. So I just said, you
Yeah,
know what? The biggest insult to Tie Your Mother Down is it's not going to make either list for me. And I don't
exactly.
hate
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But it's like it's one of those songs that I think a lot of people say is like one of the best songs they ever did. I never quite thought it though. So I kind of like it. The riff is okay. But I don't think it's this great gem in the Queen catalog like a lot of people tend to
yeah.
think. But
Good point.
I
Yeah,
don't hate
well
it. I
said.
don't love it. It's just kind of like it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, where's the miracle? So I'm going to start at number 10. I'm going to go with Khashoggi Ship from the Miracle.
Mhm.
Really weird song. Again, let me state I don't really hate any of these songs that are in the worst, but we had to put stuff down here, right? I don't really like Brian's guitar tone on this song. It's like really way overdriven and kind of like just harsh to listen to. And I think Freddie's vocal is trying to be a little too cute for how heavy the song is trying to be, right? It's like it's almost like, well, let's do like this kind of like schmaltzy type of vocal thing in this crushingly overdriven, heavy, noisy song. It just doesn't work for me. So that's number 10. Let's go to Kind of Magic. Where is it? Here we go. And I'm going to go with Princes of the Universe. Not a bad song. Kind of lacks some focus. I like parts of the song. It doesn't sound like you're absolutely right. There's stuff on this album that like it's to me it's a very disjointed album. It's like all these ideas and things coming together and I get it, it's a lot of soundtracky stuff, but I don't know. Princess of the Universe to me just I don't know. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. There are parts of it that are really good, but it lacks some focus. It's not very cohesive. So that's that. Number 8, I'm gonna go with this is a song that was originally on the other side of the fence on the best, but I had other stuff that I kind of liked more, and I was like, this really isn't a great song, and that's Headlong from Innuendo. Had you rushing headlong? It's catchy. I think it's really catchy. It's maybe a little generic sounding for them, and I agree with you. I think like Brian tried very, very hard later in their career to I gotta have, you know, those couple of heavy tunes on there, and I don't think like the riff is all that good. It's okay. Um, I think it's okay. I think it's fun, but it's definitely among, in my opinion, the worst of their heavy tracks. So that's number eight. Number seven, News of the World. Where are you here? All right, I'm gonna go with Sheer Heart Attack. I know a lot of people love this song. I don't dislike it. It's really fast, really punky, and I think the voice, yeah, 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 do you know, do you know, do you know, just how that's just, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. And that's my number seven, Sheer Heart Attack. And last, we're gonna go with, I think you already talked about this. Where's the works? I don't know. It's here somewhere. It's hiding somewhere. There we go. I'm gonna go with Hammer to Fall. Yeah, it's nice and anthemic. The vocals are nice, but man, I wish he did something more with the riffs on this. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. It's just it's like, all right, whatever. It's okay. I don't hate it, but I want something more. The synthesizer thing is just ridiculous in it. And it's just, all right, we're gonna do like a kind of anthemic rock song, but Brian's gonna beef it up with and with heavier riffs that aren't really all that inventive. And yeah, it's almost like he's kind of running out of ideas with how to deliver heavy songs like this. But yeah, not a terrible song, but it is what it is. That's my number
Nice.
six.
Okay. All right. So my 5 through 1 of worst headbanging or worst heavy Queen songs. It's funny. This is one you had on your list last week as a favorite goofy Queen song, and it's both. It's a heavy song and a goofy Queen song. I'm in love with my car.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm putting it in here because again, it's basically the loser in the end again. It's just this slow, boring, heavy, sluggish sort of song. I love Roger singing, but yeah, I've never liked that song very much, just because it just moves way too slow for me, kind of thing.
And
Uh,
ironically, I had originally on last week's show, I had Loser in the End on my worst of the goofy songs because I
oh
think
yeah,
that's kind of a goofy song also. But in the end, I was
yeah,
like, I kind of like it
interesting.
a little bit more. So I took it off. So,
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay, so number 4, I've got Tear It Up from the works. It just
baby.
with the little Celtic thing going on in it. Yeah. Just again, the idea where I'm ticked off that basically Brian's playing really obvious chords, and that's the whole riff. There's no note dense, there's no fast stuff, there's no single notey kind of things. It's just big dumb chords when he's trying to write a heavy song in the 80s kind of thing. Number 3, Headlong from Innuendo. I've always hated that song. I think it was an advanced single, so it's like everybody's like, oh,
Yeah.
Queen's heavy again, Queen is back and stuff. I just cannot stand the verses, the chorus especially. It just rubs me the wrong way. Again, it sounds like a Brian Howe, Bad Company song, kind of thing.
You don't like the
Never
boom
liked it.
diddy diddies, boom diddy doos? Come
Yeah,
on.
right. That too, exactly. And then same album, The Hitman. Right. I don't want to hear Freddie singing about being a hitman. It's just really weird. And it's one where you just hear how they're just trying to be heavy so hard, right? It's like, oh yeah, we've got to recapture this sort of thing. It's got a few of the production things in there, a little bit of that magic put in. And then number 1, I'm going with Khashoggi Ship as well. Just so that's my most hated heavy Queen song, and it's them trying to be heavy on the Miracle. And again, just like I Want It All. It's like I don't want to hear how you're partying on Khashoggi's ship, right? It's like I can't relate to that. So it feels like they're rubbing their wealth in your face, sort of thing, in this braying, noisy song, kind of thing, on this album that just doesn't work, kind of thing. So there you go. That's my 5 through 1 of the worst headbanging Queen songs.
Worst headbanging songs. All right. My number five might be their most metal song they ever did, but I think the song is kind of a mess. Give Me the Prize, Kurgan's theme from A Kind of Magic. I mean, man, it's just molten. I mean, Brian is just like, it's crazy. It's total metal. But man, all the little snippets from the film that are thrown in the song just absolutely ruined it for me. It's just like this could have been just a kick-ass heavy metal Queen song, and it just don't like it. Don't like it. It's a shame because like I said, it could have been one of their greats, but yeah, no. Also, I'm gonna go with One Vision. Give me one vision. I don't dislike it. I think it's memorable, but it's not very inventive at all from them. Next, I'm gonna go with I Want It All from The Miracle, wherever that is. I don't know, somewhere around here. I Want It All. Again, this whole want to be stadium ready, and yeah, this is going to be a song that everybody's going to get up and I want it. Yeah, whatever. It's okay. Not one of my favorites. Next, let's go back to Hot Space, wherever the hell that is, because got to have some Hot Space hatred here. Put Out the Fire. It's funny, Martin, when this first came out, I hated it. But then I was like, oh, but at least there's one really good heavy song on there. Put Out the Fire is great. And for the longest time, that's the only song I would ever listen to on here. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, you know what? Put Out the Fire isn't all that good either. It's okay. To me, it's the only song on here that well, Under Pressure I love. That's a totally different story, but I can still listen to it, but I don't think it's all that good. And then number one, I'm also going to go with Tear It Up. I just think Tear It Up is very generic sounding. The riffs are generic, the lyrics are generic. I don't know. It's nothing spectacular. Again, it's like the requisite heavy song on the album because we gotta put one or two, and it's just like it's okay, but it's nothing spectacular at all. Considering how like the ones that made my best list, I think there's some really really spectacular stuff there because I think when this band wanted to be heavy, they did it very very well in their heyday. So, but we'll get to that now. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Funny thing about "Tear It Up," I'm now running it through my head, and some of the vocal melodies on there remind me of "We Will Rock You" a little bit, like what Freddie's doing with his voice in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay, so favorite headbanging Queen songs, or favorite heavy Queen songs, or best. I'm gonna start with "Stone Cold Crazy." Which I've got it fairly low on my list because I'm not crazy about the stopping and singing over the that thing, but the riff is just molten. It's just an amazing heavy riff. Next, I'm going with a Little Discussed song. Where's my copy here? White Man off of Day at the Races, super heavy sledge, kind of big doomy song for them. Love the production as well. Very cool. Next, I'm going with Liar from the debut.
Yeah.
Love the debut. I go back and forth on favorite Queen album between the debut and Jazz. Probably really Jazz though. But yeah, Liar I think is really cool on here. So speaking of Jazz, I'm going with Dead on Time
Oh yeah.
on here with just the weird little claustrophobic production on it.
That's some really intricate, cool little stuff that Brian's doing on that song. Big time.
Yeah,
That's
great
Brian
drum
Van is
sound
best
too.
with creating cool
Yeah,
riff. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. I've got one more. This is an odd choice, but I've always liked this song, and I think it's kind of a cool deep track. Is Fight from the Inside from
Oh yeah,
News of the
good. Yeah.
World.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the production and the way it's very like Who and Zeppelin-esque. It's like really casual, the way it kind of comes together and gets heavier sort of thing. I think it's a really well put together song. So there you go. That's my 10 through 6 of best headbanging Queen songs.
Cool. Yeah, lots of good stuff to choose from here.
Yep.
So my number 10, I actually like it a lot. I think the Hitman is just molten heavy. I like to see that. To me, that's Brian coming up with some really, really cool riffs. Yeah, the lyrics are kind of like whatever, but I think as far as like heaviness and cool, chunky, crunchy riffing, I think the Hitman really works. I'm so happy you put it on your list because I originally it just missed my list. But then I was like, I went and re-listened to it again. I'm like, there's no way that I can leave White Man off of this. White Man is so underrated, so heavy, slow, and crushing, and just I love the chorus and just so good. The solo in it is great. Love it. That's my number 9. My number 8, where's the debut? There it is. How about Modern Times Rock and Roll? Love Modern Times Rock and Roll. It's just and it's
Yeah.
so fast and how what is it like? Not even 2 minutes long. It just comes in, kicks your ass so quick. Roger, man, just so good. Number 8. Uh, let's go to Night at the Opera for one of a couple of songs that'll be featuring here. Death on Two Legs. Great opener, snarling vocal. Love the chorus. Love the guitars, just crushing heavy song to open up the album. And then my number six, also from here, the big epic Prophet song, which again, these big doomy riffs, and there's lots of, I maybe the song is a little bit too long for its own good. They got that whole, and now I know. But man, when everything kicks in, Brian just absolutely killing it on there. So big, doomy, menacing. Love it. Prophet song, my number six.
Yep. Cool. All right. Number five, I'm going with The Hero from Flash Gordon. The one bona fide song on here. The production is so good on this. This is really an interesting song in that it sounds like something that could have been on News of the World. It's got all those really cool. It's almost like the best production of that interesting era. Not jazz, but more like a mix of hot space production and the game production. And I think it's just a really well put together song. I love the drum arrangement on it with the showering cymbals all over it. And the
I
riff
wanted
is
to I
like,
wanted to include it, but I felt it was like too short and like
mhm.
unrealized, because
Yeah,
once you're
I
like a
know.
minute and a half into it, it goes into that whole other thing,
That's
and
true.
it's
Yeah.
but the beginning is so good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like it's just a great vocal, great sledgehammer riff. It's got that just good anthemic feel to it. I wish it was like a full-fledged like 4 minute long song. That's what I think might have been.
Yeah, it's almost like the last time Queen really sounds magical kind of thing.
Yeah.
After that they become mortals sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Um okay, number 4 I went with Modern Times Rock and Roll, an absolute masterpiece. I love everything about it. It doesn't really have much of a chorus, but yeah, just the riff, the drumming, the singing on it as well. Next I'm going to let Me Entertain You from Jazz. Again, my favorite Queen album, I suppose. And I just love the riff and the drums, the way, he's jazzing it up behind there with the ploipy tom sound and everything. Really, really cool. And then more of that jazz from this album. I'm putting number 2. I just love that don't, that whole thing. It's so cool. Just a well put together song, and that cynical lyric to it, right? Rock and roll just pays the bills. Our teams are real. Being into sports and stuff. Right? I really, really cool, well put together song. And then to go contrarian to you, I've got Sheer Heart Attack at number 1. Because I just love that guitar sound, that smeary guitar sound. I love just the drums are just cooking it along. It's like a production tour de force, but it's like a simple production tour de force.
It is simple.
And I just the way the guitars, just things kind of go over the end of the bar on it, kind of thing as well. And I love the ending, the false ending with the drums, the whole tom thing, and then it kicks back in again. It's just so heavy. So yeah, I've always I always thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, it's funny. This well, I'll comment after your final ones, but yeah, go ahead.
All right. So also I'm going to include Liar as my number five. Absolutely terrific. Great riff, great vocal arrangement, just so good. Liar is absolutely incendiary. Queen, love it. I'm going to stick on the debut. Surprised you didn't mention it, but probably could even be one of my favorite Brian May riffs ever, and that's Son and Daughter. Just love it. It's bluesy, but it's just heavy and beefy. Absolutely love it. Next number three, I'm gonna go with Stone Cold Crazy, from of course the third album. Where the hell is it? It's here somewhere. There we go. Sheer Heart Attack. Yeah, I mean a classic song. Maybe one of the first kind of thrasher speed metal songs ever written and recorded. Just amazing. Bulldozing riff from Brian. Next, I'm gonna go to the jazz album for Dead on Time.
Yeah.
Lethal. I mean, literally, you picked two other great ones before that didn't make my list, but Dead on Time is just so good. So heavy, so crushing. And then a song that didn't make your list, and quite frankly, if you really think about it, it could have made my top of the goofy song list because it is goofy, but it's heavy. Ogre Battle from Queen 2.
Right.
Absolutely love Ogre Battle. But again, it's just the whole premise of the whole song is just so ridiculous for Queen. but just a crushing barnstorming riff, and yeah, one of the greats off an album that's got a lot of really, really good stuff. It's amazing how much good, like this is basically an album full of great deep tracks. There's like nothing really here that's like could be considered a hit, but you go top to bottom and it's just like so much good stuff there. So yeah, that's my top one. Ogre Battle.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing about this list is so many songs. I thought of Ogre Battle immediately. It's like, oh, is it going to make my list? And then I started going through it. It's like, oh, which are the ones I really, really like? So again, it's almost like by omission. There's so many that I left off because I like them a lot, but it wasn't in my top 10, and they weren't, ones that I'm going to put down either, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
Keep Yourself Alive is a funny one like that. Now I'm
I
Here
I
by
know.
Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know where to put that one because I was like, I really like it a lot. But is it one of their heavier songs? I don't know. It's certainly not one of their worst ones. I think Keep Yourself Alive probably if we were to do like a top 15, it would have made my list for sure. But I was
Yeah.
kind of like, to me, it just maybe wasn't as heavy as some of the other ones. I don't know. Whatever. Still great. Still great. Absolutely. Yeah. Bright
Yeah.
Rock.
It's funny as time goes on, like that whole thing that we've talked about before, like the really early albums by bands have this sort of depressing quality to them, like they sound a little bit too old. And I've for years called Queen one in my top 3 albums of all time, but now even like I say, jazz even beats it. I just love the variety and the action all over jazz, and the fact that it's got all these short songs and they're all different, and there's so many things going on. Like you say, Dead on Time. You think of the chorus of that, right? Dead on time, dead on time, dead on, dead on, dead on. Just so many cool little parts, and they're just cramming all this stuff in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really cool one. But yeah, it's a funny list to go through this way, and just realize, and I even look at it, and like most of the stuff on jazz, it's produced in such an interesting, obscure way that they even though we had those 3 songs, they're not even particularly heavy. They're just played. They're like they got a little bit of that ZZ Top played in a matchbox sort of thing going on, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Fat Bottom Girls is totally heavy
Yeah.
in terms of the production, right? Mustafa, when it gets heavy, is totally heavy in the production. But these 3 are all like intricate. They're fussy little songs, right? Yeah.
I love the production of jazz. I love the way Brian's guitar is produced. To me, a lot of times the Queen albums, the make or break element of the Queen album is any Queen album is how Brian's guitar is produced, and that's why I tend to favor stuff like the first album, even the second album to an extent, but like Sheer Heart Attack, Jazz. I mean, some of Brian's biggest guitar sounds, as far as the production goes, are from those albums, and that's why those I tend to favor those quite a bit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe next week. I mean, if I don't know if you're up for it. It's funny, but the one band that I feel like we could do both of these 2 episodes that we've done on is Ted Nugent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can do Ted Nugent for heavy songs. You can do Ted Nugent for goofy songs, right?
Got a lot of both.
Yeah. And how many bands can you say that about, right?
Not a lot,
I
right?
don't
You
know how many
can't do
more
it for
there are.
Zeppelin. You can't do it for Sabbath, Ray. You can't do it for, I mean, just think because there's got to be this goofy part of it, right? Like how many bands do we associate with? Yeah, they did a lot of goofy songs. Not a
Yeah.
lot. Not a
Yeah.
lot.
Maybe ZZ Top. That might be a possible one, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's no
potentially.
reason we have to do goofy and heavy. It's just funny that, Ted Nugent kind of lines up with Queen, that we can do the exact same pairing, right? I mean, we
Yeah,
can get onto other tangents, but
yeah,
it's funny that whoever thinks Ted and Queen have that in common, right?
yeah. Go
Yeah.
figure, right?
Yeah.
All right, Martin, what's going on? Contrarians, books, podcasts. I'm sure you got those a lot of those brand new books in, right?
Yeah, a lot of brand new books. Just out recently. We've got the 2 Genesis panel books, which you are part of, and we've got the Queen Live, which is recent. Keep it on topic here. Queen Live just came out a little while ago, hardcover throughout, and I can still supply Queen album by album, which is very similar to the new book called hang on, Judas Priest album by album,
There
right?
you
So
go.
these are the same format, same publisher, same idea, where I had to get some celebrities involved. So we get Charlie Benanti and this, we got Paul McCartney in this one. It's pretty cool. But yeah, Charlie Benanti, Slash, talk to Slash for that. And then the final one that's new is the budget version, but it's not very budget. Is the Bowie. Bowie at 75 is now turned into this rock and roll chameleon book, and it's all the exact same book, just missing some of the paper goods, but still hardcover, full color throughout. So all that's at martinpopoff.com, and signing, sending them, shipping out. If you want them for Christmas presents, I'll sign whatever you want on them to whoever you want, all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Sounds good. So, what do we got going on here this weekend? Of course, in a couple hours, we got Ken Golden coming in for the professor's picks. We've got Jamie Laszlo in the review crew tomorrow and ranking the albums on Sunday. So, lots happening as always. Stay tuned for everything, folks. And probably going to be no Hudson Valley Squares next week because I will be away on vacation. So we'll catch up with the squares the next time around. But till then, this is on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button. Before you leave, Martin and I, though, will be back due to the wonderful way of recording early next week. So I'll be away up at the Finger Lakes, but Martin and I will be here live for you on Friday morning, as always. So stay tuned for that and more. For Martin Popoff, I am Pete Pardo. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.